What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be taking it back to old school, tried and true book reviews. We are going to be talking about none other than India Holton's series. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, definitely stick around for the video. It's reading time here at JB's Corner. Okay, so this is actually known as far as the series, the Dangerous Damsels series. And it is written by India Holton, who I have recently discovered is going to be soon one of my favorite period romance authors. And I don't know if anyone had a chance to watch the video I put out in end of March, actually, where it was prompts drawn to select my TBR for April. And one of the prompts that had been drawn was literally period romance. So when I was like, okay, I've read the second book in this series, but I haven't read the first or the third yet. And I realized I now had the opportunity to do so because it's very much like Bridgerton type of setting, old London, like that type of vibe. I was like, okay, this is going to be a perfect opportunity to read these books. And I was absolutely correct. These books were utterly incredible. I enjoyed them so much. They are very, very much exactly what you would expect from a period romance novel. Nothing too crazy, nothing too insane. Very, very fun, easy, frivolous reads for sure. But even though that is the case, they are still some of the cutest books I have ever read. Now, before we get into that, I just realized I never introduced myself. My name is Jaya. I am a book fiend. I love to read. I love fiction, and I have a major fiction addiction. This library is probably my most prized possession that I own, and I will be the first one to admit that I do have a bit of a collector's mentality. It's a little unhealthy, and I'm really gonna try so hard for the rest of the year to not buy anything, which is going to be extremely challenging and difficult for me, but I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best because I have so many beautiful books. The exception to this rule is, of course, any of the pre-orders that were placed for special editions, which are still on their way to me. Some of them have not been released yet, or they are, coming in from overseas, so they haven't arrived yet. So I'm still waiting on those books. And then there are a few books that I have pre-ordered because the series is continuing or coming to completion. So for those books, they are already pre-ordered and ready to come, but I'm trying my best not to buy any other new books. And then the other thing I'm also trying not to buy is clothing, jewelry, bags, shoes, anything of that nature, especially after I turn 35 in June. The reasoning behind this is I always said that by the time I turned 35, I wanted to amass the life that I wanted, the vision board that I had for my life. And so that's kind of where I'm at. So not only were these books absolutely wonderful for my theme of periodic romance, but it was also filling that task of completing physical TBR books that I have on my shelf right now. And I really want to enjoy this library that I've cultivated for myself. And the other thing I also want to really try doing is getting into the library where I live. And I really want to see what I can do with the Libby app, because that does sound like a really fun way to experience new novels and books without necessarily spending a pretty penny or two, because gosh knows I have done enough of that. But yeah, that's basically the vibes of this channel. We talk all things books with a little bit of sporadic randomness here and there. And that randomness usually entails like little vlogs, traveling, weddings, celebrations, things like that. Just like fun little things that happen in life that I think are enjoyable and pretty and fun to share. So that was the vibes. And that is where we're going from. I don't know what I'm trying to say. That's where we're trying to go with the content in these videos on this channel. However, there have been a multitude of weddings that have occurred recently and a lot of travels that have recently occurred, conferences, work, things like that. And so because of that, there was definitely a step away from reading. And so I'm really excited to bring us back to the core of what this channel was always meant to be, which is a reading vlog. And so without further ado, let's jump into the rest of the series. Now, one of the fun facts about how I ended up reading this series is that I actually read the books out of order. So I read the second book first, then I, for some reason, thought I had read the first book already, which I had not done. But because I had been introduced to the characters in the second book, I was under the impression that I had read the first book. So I read the third book. And then that's when I realized, as I was coming to sit down and do this video, that I was like, hey, I don't think I've actually read the first one. And so I went back and checked my Goodreads, which is where I track all of my books. And I noticed that I had not, in fact, read the book, but instead it was listed as a book that I would like to get to and like to read on my channel. So I am very excited to say that I have finally completed the series, albeit in a very roundabout way. And it was absolutely wonderful to do so. So the first book that I ended up reading was The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. No, that's not true. This is the third book that I read, sorry, but it is the first book in the series by India Holton. And in this book, we are following two main characters, Cecilia Bassenthwaite, as well as Ned, what's his last name? Ned Lightbourne. And so these two characters are very, very much well known in society. They carry themselves in a certain fashion. They are well bred. They are a lady and a lord of standing, if you will. And they are also complete and total scoundrels in the sense that Cecilia is actually born into pirating, and her mother was a pirate, and she's now being raised by her great aunt, and she is also a pirate. And so she is basically being raised into the culture of pirating. And then we also have Ned, who happens to be a captain slash pirate slash assassin for hire slash bodyguard, or, you know, a member of the Queen's Royal Guard. There's just a lot of things that's on Ned's portfolio. However, the only thing is he currently doesn't own a house. And the biggest thing about being a pirate is once you prove yourself, you are rewarded the opportunity to steal your first home. So in this story, Ned has actually been hired by one of the other pirate ladies to basically assassinate Cecilia. He has also been hired by Cecilia's estranged father to track her down and bring her back to his residence so that he can get her married off within the family lineage, as they did back in the day, so that their blood remains pure and they continue pirating in the appropriate way. Now, Captain Morgarth is the main adversary in this storyline. He is the father of Cecilia, who is also known to have murdered her mother, because he doesn't believe that ladies as a whole should have rights and standing and that they should have a society all of their own. He feels very belligerent towards them, and he feels that it was unfair that women are trying to take power for themselves, and therefore he is out to basically break down this entire hierarchy and basically bring down the Wisteria Society of Ladies. He's also believing that he is the greatest poet of all time because he believes he's related to the Brontes, and so he feels like no one appreciates his artistic works in the way that they should, and for that reason he's also frustrated, and his grand scheme in life is to basically take down the Wisteria Society, as well as steal everything everyone has to offer and force them to listen to his poetic works. Cecilia, who is a very young lady in her 20s, has basically been groomed to continue in the work of pirate ship, and under the stewardship of her grandmother, she ends up basically doing all the tasks that a young lady is expected to complete before she is officially inducted into the Wisteria Society. And so she's just waiting for that moment to come up. She's under the impression that now that there's an assassin out to get her, she feels like she's literally hit the highest level of pirate ship, and she's just waiting for that opportunity to be bestowed upon her. Meanwhile, she and Ned are also starting to form a little bit of an attachment. She doesn't know who Ned truly works for. On one hand, he has been sent by Lady Armitage to murder her. On the other hand, he has been sent by her father to retrieve her. And then on the other hand, he's apparently betraying both of the pirates and is actually working for the Queen. So she doesn't know what's going on, and she and Ned are just consistently found in awkward, funny situations where they have the funniest banter. Like, there's literally a moment in the book when she is out in the field enjoying a strolling walk in the sunlight, and she's going to a library, and he pops up behind her with a revolver in hand, and she's just like, "Sir, Do you really think it is appropriate to murder a lady in broad daylight? Like, pick a better time. That's the type of banter they have. It's great. It's so cute. It's so funny. And overall, the vibes of this story was just hilarious. And watching Cecilia grow as a character, seeing kind of figure out like what her limitations are, how far she's willing to go in the name of piracy, and how much she's willing to do for her family is super sweet to see. Ned's character is also disarmingly charming, and it's very sweet to see him try to woo her while at the same time trying to play all 3 different roles that he has been cast into. And then meanwhile, the Wisteria Society ladies themselves are absolutely hilarious. It's a group of basically high-level elderly women who accumulated wealth and decided that society did not give them enough rights, and so they decide to take rights for themselves, and it's just a bunch of lady pirates. These elder ladies are consistently fighting with one another. They are consistently trying to overthrow the other person. They are trying to one-up each other all the time, but they're also like besties and friends, and they don't actually want each other to be like knocked out of the playfield. They just want to one-up each other and continue their journey together as these elderly women. And it's just a very sweet novel in an overall overarching way. It's fun, it's fast-paced, it's entertaining. Lots of quick adventures are happening throughout the book as various things are happening. At one point, Captain Morgoth has literally captured the entire Wisteria Society, and so Cecilia has to go save them, and she inevitably has to partner with Ned, which is very entertaining to watch. That entire scene was absolutely hilarious. Another thing is the Wisteria Society scoundrels all know a little bit of magic enchantments, and so when they speak these enchantments, their houses can actually fly. So they literally can fly from anywhere that they want, as long as they know how to say the navigation spells and navigate the home. And so it's just funny to watch these like ladies of breeding basically also say, screw everybody, we're going to do what we want to do. And then Queen Victoria as a character in this book is also absolutely hilarious to read. So overall, I think this book was really fun. I realized I didn't give too much description on what the book is actually about, but essentially Cecilia Bassingthwaighte is a Victorian lady. She's also a thief, and she flies around England drinking tea, blackmailing friends, acquiring treasures by interesting means because she's a pirate. And she has a dark and traumatic past because her mother has died, her father is like a villain, her overbearing aunt is the one taking care of her. And it's fun, it's great, until Ned shows up, basically hired to kill her, and he's under direct orders to do so. However, he also is under the employment of Captain Morvath, who basically just wants Cecilia back home. And so throughout the course of the book, basically, Cecilia is forced to team up with her handsome would-be assassin to save the women who raised her, hopefully proving once and for all that she's as much of a scoundrel as the rest of them. Super sweet book, solid 4-star read, definitely recommend. In the first book, we really got to see the different vibes of the pirating world. We got to see these lady scoundrels. In the second book, we are exposed to witches. Now, the Wiccan League and the Society, Wisteria Society, are bitter enemies. The witches basically believe that there should be a little bit of decorum and secrecy with the use of magic, that it shouldn't be flaunted and like shown to everybody. And they feel like the pirates are deceiving people by using their powers, if you will, to steal and openly do these things in broad daylight. Whereas, of course, the Gentlewomen witches, who are also thieves and scoundrels in their own right, do it in a much more sophisticated and sneaky manner. And so for these reasons, they find themselves to be upper to the Wisteria Society. We have a bunch of witches who are basically on the hunt of basically finding this amulet. Charlotte Pettifer is the main character in this book. She is a female witch who is out for adventure and basically just wants to prove her worth as well. She ends up working with Alex O'Reilly, or against Alex O'Reilly, I should say, who is a pirate that was introduced in the first book. And he is an Irish pirate, and he has a beautiful home. But of course, like any other man, he's not a fan of witches. And so they're doing everything in their power to basically ensure that Charlotte Pettifer gets back the amulet that has been stolen, which is hindering or causing death. Hold on one second. They're trying to steal back an amulet that they believe the pirates have a nefarious purpose for. And essentially the Wiccan League, or the Witch League, is doing everything in their power to make the world a better place and protect them from the society scoundrels. And in the process of this, they're basically looking for the long lost amulet of Black Beryl, and it is up to Charlotte, the future leader of the League. That's where it is that I was missing myself. That she wants to find the powerful talisman, and she's forced to work with Alex O'Reilly, who's a pirate in the process. And of course, naturally, they end up falling in love with each other. Very, very cute, sweet book. I will actually read the back to you guys as well, because I think the backs are just written well and it's doing a better job of explaining what I'm trying to explain. Miss Charlotte Pettifer belongs to a secret league of women skilled in the subtle arts. That is to say, although it is never to be said, witchcraft. The Wiccan League strives to improve the world in small ways. Using magic, they tidy, correct, and manipulate according to their notions of what is proper, entirely unlike those reprobates in the Wisteria Society. When the long-lost amulet of Black Beryl is discovered, it is up to Charlotte, as the future leader of the League, to make sure the powerful talisman does not fall into the wrong hands. Therefore, it is most unfortunate when she crosses paths with Alex O'Reilly, a pirate who is no Mr. Darcy. With all the world scrambling after the amulet, Alex and Charlotte join forces to steal it together. If only they could keep their pickpocketing hands to themselves. If Alex is not careful, he might just steal something else, such as Charlotte's heart. Very, very cute, sweet book. I absolutely adored this novel. I thought this one was so adorable that I ended up getting the other two books. At the time when I read this, I didn't realize it was the second book in the series, and I will say you can read these books as standalones. However, it is fun to read them in order because all the characters make reappearances in future books, and so it's more fun if you know their character dynamic. But this book in particular is hilarious to watch Alex try to out-pirate the witch who actually has more knowledge in witchcraft, and their overall banter and their overall grumpy-ish kind of relationship was so cute to read, especially when they try to one-up each other. And it's just so sweet to watch their romance bud, and it's also very sweet to see how they really grow in each other's company and they support each other and each other's growth in order to retrieve the amulet that they're trying to retrieve. Very well done book. Really enjoyed this book. Would strongly recommend. The final book is actually following the story of the two agents, Alice, as well as, what is the other guy's name? Daniel Bixby. So Daniel Bixby and Agent A, Alice, are the top government, actually, are they government? Top operatives within the secret service known as AUNT. And their job is to basically penetrate into these various pirates and witches' homes and bring them down from the inside by gathering intel on their employers. So they're basically acting as maids and servants within the home, and in the process gathering intelligence and then reporting it back to Aunt. And should they need to, they are also trained in lethal abilities as well and can take people down. They have really cool subterfuge, causing little devices and things like that that are hidden in their shoes and their clothes. Like their clothes can turn into parachutes and their shoes have phones on them and things like that. So very gadget friendly, very Inspector Gadgety kind of vibes, and except for the fact that he's not a robot. And both of these characters are basically from very tragic past histories. They are lonely orphans. They have been beaten down and trodden upon throughout the course of their childhood, as well as once they were inducted into Aunt. And through the process of their training, they are now sitting in the top titles of position A and B, the best agents in the entire organization. And they are very good at what they do, and they're also extremely good at playing the roles that they have to play. They love organization and cleanliness and tidiness, and they do it to the best of their abilities. And for the first time ever, they are being forced to partner with each other to basically pretend to be a married couple, to infiltrate into a pirate soiree, to bring down the threatening concern that there has been a weapon that has been stolen by the pirates that can then be used against the queen. So Alice and Bixby, are basically forced into this pirate soiree, and they're forced to do a different kind of role than they're used to. Normally they are servicing agents, so they are going to be people who work as maids and butlers and things like that. But in this case, they have to pretend like they have to act as a married pirate couple in order to infiltrate the pirate soiree that is happening in order to steal the weapon that is rumored to be there that could potentially harm the queen. Through the process of this, we also see them interact with the other characters from the book. We see Alex and Charlotte show up, basically trying to find the weapon as well. We see Cecilia Bassenthwaite as well as Ned Lightbourne show up with their newly born child in the course of this book. We see all of the old Wisteria Society pirate ladies show up again throughout the course of this book. We get to see a little bit of rivalry that was shown in the beginning of the first book rear its head again in this book. And we also get to see the ridiculousness, that absolutely ridiculousness, that is the beliefs of the aunt system and their definition of right and wrong. And then we also get to see two very, very tragic history, very lonely, but very good at their job characters fall for each other and find true love and happiness in one another and discover who they are as individuals outside of their roles of being these pristine agents. I think this one was probably my favorite. It was a very, very sweet book. It was very touching, and I also felt like the characters in this book had a lot more depth to them than the other two books did. Don't get me wrong, all the characters were well written and all of the stories were told very well, but I do think this one in particular struck a chord with me because there was so much backstory provided for each of these two characters, and their tragedies were very, very hard-hitting, and you could really see how it made them who they are today. And it was really cute to watch them struggle to rely on each other, to then become so comfortable and dependent on one another that they almost look towards one another to complete plans without even having to talk about it. The progression in this book is just done very well. The banter in this book is just done very well. And the overall storyline is beautiful. I also loved the end of this book in particular, and I think that was also really special because it really ties all three stories together of all of the couples and their relationships with one another and where they end up in the future. You get an epilogue of what's happening in their lives like 5 to 10 years past the end of this book, and it's just very sweet to see the found family that they've created for themselves in the end of this book. So I would say that overall this book is just overarchingly beautiful, and it was just such a fun read. It was definitely a solid 5-star read for me in this series. And that does bring me to the end of this video. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love reading, and I will say period romance pieces, especially if you go in knowing it's a period romance piece, you get exactly what you want from those books typically. But I think what I loved about this is like the spice is done well, the romance is done well, the banter is done well, the storyline is done well, the little twist of the magic and the magical realism in this book, as well as the Secret Service agents and those type of little quirky bits in this book also makes it fun, fast-paced, entertaining. And I like the fact that it's kind of an adventure style novel instead of your typical fortune hunting or like bringing down the Duke type of book. Not to say that those aren't fun. I definitely enjoy those too. But I think these were just a little bit more fun because of the action bits in the book. So I do think if you're looking for a period romance, you're looking for something that's classically a period romance, something that's very sweet. You enjoy a little bit of spice in your books, but you also don't want it to be overdone. You really like character building and banter, and you really like the setting of the period romances, this is a great selection of books for you. These were so much fun, and I definitely do see myself reading many more India Holton books to come. I am so excited to jump into the Love Academic series that she has written with the Ornithologist's Guide to something. That one was also, I mean, I've heard is amazing, and I'm so excited to read that one. But I just think India Holton definitely knows how to tell a story, and she knows how to make it entertaining as well. Overall series for me, it was a solid 4-star read. That wraps up the content in regards to the actual books themselves. And I just wanted to say that I am so thankful for each and every one of you who has taken the time to get onto this channel and click this video and sit down to watch it. I realize it takes a lot of time, and time I know is very valuable, and I just can't thank you guys enough for choosing to spend your valuable time with me to talk all things books. It's just such a special moment and such a special occasion to know that we're building such an amazing community here. Let me know what you guys think of this series. Let me know if it's something that sounds interesting to you. Let me know if you've read other books like this. I love reading the comments, and I really do believe this is a community effort. So definitely let me know what you guys thought of these books and the review. And if it made you feel like you want to pick up the books, or if you have read them before, how it made you feel about them listening to my thoughts on the book. And I will definitely respond to those comments. So definitely leave those comments below. For those of you that are new here, if you are interested in continuing to be a part of the community, I do put out videos every Wednesday and Sunday and would love to see you back. And just in case, so you don't miss any opportunities to come hang out with us, if you do feel like it's appropriate, I would love to have you hit that notification button and that subscribe button. We would love to see you come back. For those of you that are returning, once again, I cannot thank you enough. Like, honestly, you guys are so special to me, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you for making this reading journey a reality for me. It was really hard to find people who read at the same levels and the same rates that I like to read, and it was really hard to find people that had the same interest in reading and the genres that I read. And it's just been so nice to cultivate that sense of community and that sense of camaraderie in the world of reading with all of you guys. I am also very thankful for all of my friends and family who continue to read and support me, but it's also been so nice to expand into this world as well, and I couldn't have done that without each and every one of you. So truly, thank you so much. And I just wanted to say to everyone here, wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, evening, or night, I hope you guys are feeling safe, protected, secure, loved, and you're getting plenty of time to rest, relax, and read. I realize we live in a very crazy world right now, and I just think it's so important to take those moments of self-care and to spend that time with all your family, friends, and loved ones, just to remind us why we're all here. Thank you so much once again, everybody. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.